Hello everybody. What I would like to do today is compare two graphics cards, is Fury X versus Titan X. We're going to talk about performance in games. I'm not going to do the whole thing with the rendering and the professional work. I'm just going to talk about gaming. So this is purely gaming video. And the reason for making this video is because I've been reading on the internet, some people are confused that apparently they think that Fury X is better for gaming than Titan X. But it's not, and I'm going to prove it to you in three simple tests. It will be, the first one is synthetic benchmark to have a look at the theoretical potential values for between the two. The second one is the real scenario, the real life scenario where we're testing a real game. And the third one is the video memory capacity, 4 gigabytes versus 12 gigabytes. And I'm actually going to say in advance that 4 gigabytes is more than enough, but more on that later on. And that is the way that I'm going to do this. But first, before I begin, I must say something about Titan X that I'm not happy with. Basically, this thing, because Nvidia didn't allow their partners to make alterations to the board, it is capped. It basically feels like a capped card, because when I was overclocking it, the power is limited. So basically you can still push your hardware further, you can push core further, you can push memory further, but you know, it's just not enough power. It only goes up to, you can only increase it from 100% to 110%, and the VRMs and power phase that installed in there is pretty basic, so it does overclock pretty nice. It gets about 20% if you compare it to stock speed, to overclock speed. It gains about 20% increase in performance, but still you could get more out of it, but it is limited by that. So that's what I'm gonna say, that 980 Ti has pretty much stomped all over Titan X, because there are cards like these have come out where the board was actually redesigned, so partners had the possibility to go absolutely nuts and crazy, you know, making alterations to the board itself and the components inside. So they went ahead and done the custom power phases. They can change anything basically. So even this G1 Gaming is not the best card around. It's one of the best, but it is not the best, and it still beats Titan X. And it doesn't matter if you put Titan X under water cooling, and this one as well. As I said, the problem is with the power delivery. It's just not enough. In Titan X it's not enough. And the components are not made for extreme overclocks. So yeah, that basically is pretty sad, and this is #1 gaming card right now. So, but let's put away the 980 Ti. It will be a subject to talk about another day. Today we're going to talk about Fury X versus Titan X. And first of all, let's begin with taking a look at the synthetic benchmark, 3D Mark Firestrike Ultra, that is 4K benchmark. And I've done 4 graphs here. So first two is Titan X, overclocked and stock speed, and the second pair is Fury X, overclocked and stock speed again. First of all, let me begin with the overclock thing. So as I already mentioned, on Titan X it's almost 20% increase in performance, whereas on Fury X, despite it being water cooled, it still overclocks pretty badly, because only gains just slightly above 7%, with the core clocks varying from 1120 to 1140. The best one I had was 1140. On this sample though, I have 1120 megahertz on the core. So, and also another thing, if you have a look, you will see that both Fury X's show up as 1050 megahertz on the core, but it's just a problem with the Firestrike at the moment. It's not displaying information properly. But as you can see on the score, there was an increase, so that is overclocked card there. And if we look at it, first graph is overclocked Titan X 4902 score. Second is Titan X stock speed 4204, and it follows by Fury X overclocked 4255. As you can see, it is slightly ahead. Overclocked Fury X is slightly ahead of stock Titan X right now, and the non-overclock Fury X is behind, slightly, but behind, 3991. Yeah, so there you go. That is a theoretical one. I know that with the new drivers it may change, but we're gonna cross that bridge when we come to it. So next thing, I have chosen a Tomb Raider benchmark because I believe it is the best benchmark to compare graphics cards. It is the fairest one because it has everything in it. It is optimized to the maximum potential, and basically it has weather, physics, hair, terrain, foliage, everything you can think of. It has everything, that benchmark, so we're gonna use that to compare. And bear in mind that this is an AMD backed game with AMD hair, that is TressFX hair in there, so you know, you can't say that it was someone else's fault. So I know that I'm gonna get a lot of hate again from AMD fans, but please listen to my opinion. If you have a different one, you can make your video, but I'm laying down the facts here. So if we look at the score, at the FPS count, it is still behind Titan X, and especially with the overclock, we can see that slight performance improvement is just not enough to up Fury X's game. It is not very good for anyone who likes overclocking, who overclocks their card, even though it stays cool. But what's the difference? You know, have cool temperatures but not have performance is pretty bad, if you ask me. And Titan X is pretty much at the top. But again, 980 Ti, it goes even further. And let's talk about the memory for the last bit. As I said, 4 GB of memory is pretty much enough in 4K resolution to play 4K games. If you're not going to go too crazy on the AA, because you shouldn't anyway. It handles 4 GB, handles well even 2x MSA. If you do a crossfire, you can still be able to use AA. It's not a problem. It doesn't create a problem even in high demanding games like Assassin's Creed Unity and Shadow of Mordor that I've tested in. It performs absolutely fine. Don't ask why. I'm not an engineer. I've just done the tests and I'm sharing the results with you. So 12 GB is not really necessary. I mean, when it comes to GDDR5, maybe it is necessary to have it, but even with 6 GB on 980 Ti, the results are pretty good. So there we go. With that out of the way, basically you can see that Titan X is still at the top. If we talk about these two cards, I'm going to probably make another video comparing 980 Ti to Fury X, or maybe Fury X, I mean 980 Ti to Titan X. So if you'd like to see any of those kind of videos, do let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And as always, until next time, RG out.